Heated socks are all over Amazon. This winter has been especially cold and wet, so I bought the cheapest pair I could find on Amazon that looked decent and thoroughly tested them both outdoors and on the test bench. I'm mainly interested in them for cycling, but they're advertised for skiing, hunting, hiking and fishing and outdoor work too. I paid less than £22 for mine, which is cheaper than a pair of waterproof cycling socks. In the box you get the socks themselves, two 6000 mAh batteries, a double USB charging cable and a zipped wash bag. They're pretty thick socks, especially around the heating element. They still fit okay in my cycling shoes. I can sometimes feel the element just slightly, but I've done long rides and have had no rubbing. These specific socks only come in one size, so if you've got small feet that may be an issue. The seller lists the size as 6 to 14, which I assume is UK sizing. They measure around 24 centimetres from heel to toe, and they're long, 34 centimetres from heel to top of cuff. So they could be used in ski boots or Wellington boots. I'll show how I wear them for cycling shortly. The socks have a little pocket for the battery secured with a button. It's a little basic, but it works okay, and if it does eventually break off, which it will, it's easy to replace. Inside is a small DC 35135 barrel jack connector for the batteries. I'll cover charging in a little more detail shortly, with the batteries charged with the included split cable or any USB-C cable you have lying around. After charging, connect the battery and the battery indicator LEDs will turn on to show the battery level. A long press of the power button turns them on in high mode. A single press of the power button cycles down through the 3 lower modes. I'll test all these levels with my thermal imaging camera later. A long press turns them off again. It's nice to see their previous level is remembered when you turn them back on. They can also be controlled over Bluetooth with a smartphone app with additional features which I'll come back to. For cycling I fold them down over the battery. They're too long otherwise, but it also gives the battery a little extra protection in our current grim weather. They don't come with any IPX waterproof rating, so if you're being extra cautious, you could also cover them with a small Ziploc bag too. Or use something like these waterproof cuffs. With your shoe or boot on, even in the lowest setting, you immediately notice the extra warmth when you turn them on. The heating elements wrap around the front of your foot, which is all you need. I've used them over the last few weeks cycling in some quite horrible weather. I've done over 500 miles in them so far, a lot of those miles without any mudguards, and mostly it's been below 5 degrees Celsius and wet, the sort of conditions where my feet eventually get cold whatever overshoes I use. Even in their lowest setting, with the sock soaks through, I've not had cold feet. And I can get away with lighter weight overshoes too. In fact, the only time my feet sometimes feel a little cold is in the cafe stops when I turn them off. I've yet to try them in sub-zero temperatures, but imagine they'll be just fine. I might just have to turn the temperature up a bit. Battery life is impressive in real-world use. I've come back from a few 5-hour rides with the socks on low the whole ride and still had over 50% battery remaining. I'll cover battery life a little more scientifically shortly. Every ride I've done, my socks have come back covered in grime from the roads and trails, but luckily you can put the socks in the washing machine using the included laundry bag. Just remember to remove the battery first. I've dried them flat on a heated airer. I'm sure if you wanted to get the longest life out of them, you'd wash them by hand and dry them naturally. But so far, with multiple 30-degree washes with non-bio detergent, they've held up fine. I wanted to test the socks a little more scientifically. If you're not interested in these tests, feel free to skip ahead to the conclusions using the video's chapters. You can charge the batteries with the included split cable, but charging speeds depend on your power adapter. The charger needs a proper 5V 3A output for full speed. Using a capable charger, I saw around 15 watts total when charging both batteries together. For the fastest results, I charged each battery separately using a USB-C to USB-C cable at around 10 watts each. From completely flat, a full charge took just over 3 hours per battery, which is pretty good. Typically, I turn the socks on and set the heat level with the power button on the batteries. But the smartphone app is useful when you're out and about and the batteries are tucked out the way. It has the same heat output levels, but also gives a target temperature from 45 degrees Celsius to 75 degrees Celsius. There's a battery level indicator as a percentage, and you can also set a timer in the app too. I measured the heat output from the socks with my thermal imaging camera. I didn't quite get the claimed temperatures. I got between 10 and 15 degrees Celsius lower, but a still impressive 60 degrees Celsius in their highest mode, sometimes creeping higher than that. Of course, this will depend on ambient temperatures. As a comparison, I measured a disposable foot warmer. These measured around 50 degrees Celsius initially, but after 1 hour they dropped to just under 40 degrees Celsius. I've used these and they work pretty well in dry conditions, but not so much when they get soaked. Additionally, they only heat the bottom of your foot, unlike the socks. Mint House claims 3.5 to 7 hours of battery life. To To verify their claims, I measured the output of each heat mode using my multimeter. I used a smartphone app to switch the output level. I measured 0.41 amps at level 1, 0.55 amps at level 2, 0.70 amps at level 3, and 0.87 amps in the highest level 4 heat mode. There is also a rapid heating mode if you tap heating. This simply boosts whatever mode you're in to the highest output for 2 minutes. The LEDs on the battery pack flash during this period. The batteries are rated at 6,000 mAh. That figure on its own doesn't tell you very much, but since these lithium-ion cells have a nominal voltage of 3.7 volts, we can convert 6,000 mAh into watt-hours, which gives a far more useful real-world figure of 22.2 watt-hours. That's the theoretical capacity inside the battery. What really matters is how much usable energy you can actually get out of the 5-volt output that powers the socks. To test that properly, I discharged one battery using a controlled load set to 0.8 amps, simulating close to the highest heat setting. The battery ran for 4 hours and 45 minutes before cutting off, and I measured a usable output of 18.4 watt-hours. So from a rated 22.2 watt-hours, we're getting a usable 18.4 watt-hours, which works out at about 83% efficiency, a respectable result. Since the socks run at 5 volts and pull between 0.41 amps and 0.87 amps depending on the heat level, we can now calculate expected runtimes fairly accurately. And in practice, my real-world rides line up very closely with these numbers. Weight's probably not a major concern for most people, but cyclists will want to know. Each sock weighs 103 grams and the batteries weigh 109 grams each. So the whole system weighs in at 424 grams. I wouldn't say I've noticed this extra weight, but it's all useful winter training anyway. I wasn't expecting much from these socks, but I've been very impressed with them so far. In fact, it's hard to really fault them for the price. They are general purpose socks, so they might be a bit thick and long for cycling for some people. That's not been a real issue for me, and for other activities that's probably a benefit. If they were specifically for cycling, I can guarantee they'd be a lot more expensive. The app has been pretty reliable and better than I was expecting. Just occasionally it doesn't connect to one sock for some reason. This can be sorted by just unplugging and replugging the cable back in. I'm not a huge fan of the tiny DC jack, but it does the job. Ideally the USB-C charging port could have been bi-directional, so the connector on the sock would be USB-C too, but I guess that would add cost. But overall, if you get cold feet, these socks might be a lifesaver. And if you can pick them up for the price I paid, they're a bargain. I'll have a link down below to the exact socks I purchased, but since these brands come in and out of stock regularly, I'll link to a few other pairs too with similar features. Try and find some with at least 5,000 mAh batteries, USB-C charging, and although not vital, the smartphone app is quite useful. Please let me know if you'd like me to look at heated gloves next, or anything else for that matter. I'm open to suggestions. I'll keep testing these socks and see how long they last. Expect an update at some point in the future. If you found this review useful, a thumbs up really helps the channel. I read every comment and do my best to reply, so if you've got questions, feedback, or your own experiences with heated socks, let me know below. The links down below in the description are affiliate links. They don't cost you any extra, but help support the channel and accompanying website. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and tapping the bell. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.